So I bought this 4th axis on AliExpress. It was very cheap. I think the whole thing, except for the motor, was about $150. I think the chuck was an old one that I still had as well. But yeah, so I wanted to see if that works. And so normally these things come with a NEMA 34 or NEMA 23 stepper motor. But what I did here is I replaced the stepper motor with an AC servo. So the nice thing here is obviously it can go very small steps and very precise. But it can also go really, really fast. But given that this is a fairly low-cost system, let's have a look how good this actually is. We can't expect any miracles, of course, for this price point. So one thing I noticed here is that this seems to have a huge amount of runout, so that's clearly not good. And so I was trying to chase down where that came from. So I can indicate off this bar here, and so that's plus minus 1/10 of a millimeter. That's quite a lot. So if I now go onto the chuck itself, so it's already a little bit less here. And then if I go onto the mounting plate, so the mounting plate seems to be mostly okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's much better than the chuck. So it's still a few hundredths of a millimeter here. But so it's getting less, so that indicates that it's not out of center, it's out of alignment. So now if you take the chuck off, and we touch off the face, so there we have the problem. So this plate clearly is not on very straight. Alright, so that seems to be a cone fitting, so that's interesting. There's quite a few chips in there because I have already used it. Maybe there was actually just some dirt on the cone, but let's measure that in to see if at least the cone is in center. Alright, so that's also not quite perfect, but it's not very much. So that's about 1/100th of a millimeter, which is not great. Let's clean this up a bit. There's a little bit of dirt here on the cone of the faceplate, so I'll try to get that off and see if that improves matters. Also some sharp corners here, so I'm trying to clean those off a bit. Okay, so there's not much we can do, and it's not just uneven tension on the screws. Well, because I guess it makes sense, as there was actually clear wobble in the cone on the inside itself, so that's the core of the problem. Alright, so let's take this whole thing apart now. Huh, how does this come apart? I'm a bit stumped here, so this clearly does not go over the flange. There's no way to get to any retainer from this side. There's a retainer from this side, but this side is much bigger than the other side, so I don't really see how that would actually slide through all the way. So I wonder if this is pressed together or glued together even. Okay, so I can't see any obvious way how this thing can come apart. I think it's probably either press fitted or glued or heat shrunk together, and there's probably no way to get this thing apart again. So I guess the only options we have then is either buy something better, which I don't know if I want to spend the money for, try to make our own, or we could try to just grind this front plate in place, just get it flat, and then maybe that should be good enough for practical use.